Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, and their twin flame connection. Twins, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. Twins, I hope that you're doing well. If you are here as a cross watcher, welcome. If you are here and you're unsure of what a twin flame journey is, a twin flame connection, I have included a link to Gabi Kovalenko's full-length explanation of the twin flame journey, and she just does such a beautiful and comprehensive job of explaining the journey and all of its intricacies. But in a nutshell, the twin flame journey describes two people who have found each other, discovered each other, who share the same energetic soul. So it's this intense push-pull dynamic between you and your divine counterpart. Not everybody has a twin flame. We all have soulmates, but not everyone has a twin. And it's a sacred bond. It's an unbreakable bond that is ancient. It's across lifetimes. It's across the universe. That's how far back the twin flame connection goes between you and your divine counterpart. When you meet each other in this lifetime, you have such an intense connection, but then the pressure builds on that connection, and it typically forces a separation between the twins, causing a runner-chaser dynamic. The chaser understands that they've met their twin, but cleaves to them, and the runner becomes so triggered by the connection, by the intensity of it, that they run away. And there's this sense that separately the twins will do the spiritual work, do the work on themselves, go through the dark night of the soul, discover their spiritual gifts, go through a Kundalini awakening, where they come to this realization that they are full and complete all by themselves, that they don't need their twin, but that the dynamic between the twin is actually what caused them to discover their own unique gifts. I do these readings for twin flames as a twin flame myself, in order to support the community and hopefully provide some guidance from spirit as to how your twin flame connection is faring. I'm going to be using two decks for your reading today. The first one for the overall energies and the base spread, the What We've Forgotten Oracle, and for the tarot portion of the reading, the Unveiled Tarot. The cards have been pre-shuffled. I am going to pull 4 cards for the base spread, 4 cards for clarifier. The first 2 set of cards that I'm going to show you will be your side of the story. The second set of cards will be your twins. The third set will be the connection. And the fourth set will be advice from spirit. Feel free to switch you and your twins cards if you feel that is appropriate and speaks to you, as twins often mirror one another's energies. The energy between you and this divine counterpart flips constantly. So at any one time, you can weave in and out of each other's energies. So 4 cards on the table from the Oracle deck. I'm getting 4 cards for clarifier. Ooh, it was a whole big mess that just flipped out. But 4 cards came out, so let's see. Actually, 3 extra cards came out, and I'm going to take those for the overall energies, because I wasn't going to pull an overall energy, but Spirit said, nope, you have to. So you got, as the extra cards, the number 5 in the major arcana, the Hierophant in reverse, the Four of Wands in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So when we talk about major arcana, talk about the first 22 cards of the tarot deck, which talk about the divinely guided energies, the archetypes of humanity. By the time we reach the 5, we're talking about seeking out a connection to spirit through some kind of earthly means. This is usually referred to as the Pope of the Tarot, this person, this figurehead that acts as a conduit, a go-between between the material world and the spirit world. It has a little bit of a as above so below, like the magician would, pointing up to the sky there. The nice thing and the interesting thing about the Unveiled Tarot is that it gives you a little glimpse into what could be happening in kind of what I like to call kind of an alternate universe. And as we can see here, the Hierophant in another lifetime looks like could be like somebody tribal or like a shaman type figure, somebody who is wise, who is a leader. This is Taurus energy, and you've got this card in reverse. So as an overall energy to the reading, it kind of tells me that you and or your twin are kind of looking to break the rules, because the Hierophant can represent standards, regulations, conformity is what Spirit just said, conformity, and we're looking to just kind of break out of that. I do see you, and I do read for twins in separation, but this confirms that separation for me. The Four of Wands in the reverse. The Four of Wands is, they often refer to this as the twin flame energy. It's the 1111 card. The Wands suit in the tarot represents fire sign energy, the fire element, the catalytic element of the tarot. When we get to the Four of Wands, we're seeing this as, well, we see this as a wedding. And it's interesting here because this talks about high level commitment. Well, you did get that card in reverse, and you did get this card in reverse. It could also speak to the fact that you or your twin could be married and they could be getting a divorce. Right? There are some twins out there that are already in partnerships with other people. Typically, these are karmic partners. Not all the time, right? They could be soulmates as well. But that's not for all, just for some, and only if you already know this. But the Four of Wands acts as a portal. It's a portal energy. It's something that we've established like a firm foundation, and then we can celebrate that firm foundation. We can build upon it. Things seem up in the air for you right now, you and your twin flame. There's this sense that you might not know what it is that your twin wants right now. If they want a commitment with you, if they want to pursue something with you, there could be some confusion. With the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, there are no offers being made. The Knight of Pentacles, Knights are the messengers. They're the doers of the tarot, the messengers. And then the Pentacles energy is earthbound, earth element, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. There's somebody who, in the upright, the Knight of Pentacles brings forth an opportunity that is authentic and true. You got this card in reverse. And I think it's interesting here because if you look at the surrounding imagery, it looks like a funhouse, carousel, circusy kind of thing. And it's almost like, it's almost like Spirit wants to tell me that there could be a lot of, it feels messy. The surrounding part of it feels dark and shadowy and messy. And the window portion, it's like the alternative universe portion, is very prim and proper and upright. It's almost like your twin kind of is telling me, I don't want to come forward towards you unless I can do it properly. And right now, I don't feel like it's proper. But I'm feeling that energy from your twin right now. Or maybe that's your energy as you do mirror one another. But somebody in this dynamic is still figuring out their stability, figuring out what it is that they believe in, and really unable to offer anything substantial at this time, which I know is super disappointing. Trust me, I've been there. But the whole thing about the twin flame connection is that we focus on ourselves. We do things that speak to our heart chakra and our solar plexus, the things that call to us from spirit. What are our gifts and abilities, and how are we sharing those gifts and abilities with the world? It's almost like, don't worry about your twins so much, because they also have to go on that journey, and they have to figure it out on their own as you are figuring it out on your own. We start with your energy, number 2, wonder. So the number 2 corresponds to the High Priestess in the Major Arcana. High Priestess is Pisces energy. Pisces, you showed up in your own reading. The High Priestess is very psychic. She sits at the veil between worlds. She's mute, she doesn't speak, but she sees everything. It's like she could see behind that door without the door being open. That's what the High Priestess does. There's this intuition about her that she can traverse. She sees things in her dreams. She reads between the lines. She reads energy. And it almost feels instantaneous. When the High Priestess is on the scene, it's instantaneous spiritual analyzation, right? When I'm feeling particularly High Priestessy, especially like if I'm in an environment like at work, it's like there are these energetic lasers that come out of my eye, and I analyze a room, and all that information filters back to me, and my instinct and my gut feeling and my heart and everything kind of computates everything that I've assessed, and immediately I can read the energy of a room. And I dare say that many, if not all, water signs have this ability to a certain extent. If it's something that you've practiced, that you're self-aware of. Some people are not self-aware, I mean, of their abilities. They maybe take for granted, or they don't realize that other people don't have these abilities to read a room. They're just totally oblivious. They're in their own bubble. Water signs don't tend to be that way. And not a single water sign that I've ever met is oblivious to their surroundings. Most of them are, or a lot of them are empaths, so you can't, even if you wanted to be oblivious, it's too difficult. I could have headphones on, blasting music in my ear, but I will still understand and pick up the energy of the people around me. And I dare say that is part of your ability, because Spirit is bringing it up in a big way. And it's almost like they're asking you to use that ability to your advantage. The wonder card here, it's like you're in this space of curiosity. Now I see the pages. I see specifically the Page of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Page of Wands. Asking questions, wanting to understand the truth, wanting to learn more, wanting to do research, wanting to put your best foot forward, wanting to offer something in exchange for this knowledge, right, of what's behind this door. And Spirit is showing me the word esoteric. So you could be curious about ancient teachings. I'm specifically seeing Thoth the Atlantean for some people, looking at ancient Egypt, ancient cultures, shamans, these really, these teachings that existed before modern times that are rooted almost in our DNA, Spirit just said, like, because they're showing me this pattern here on the sides of this card, and it's like in our DNA, like in the very fiber of our being, in our genetic code, in the light code of the universe. These are the things that are really exciting you at this time. Because Four of Swords in the reverse, you're waking up. You're waking up. Four of Swords in the upright is to rest, recuperate after some kind of disappointment or setback. That's so hilarious, right? So the card was in the reverse. I think this is like the second time I've used this deck. The card was in reverse on my table. I promise you, I didn't even process it because I was focused on the Wonder card. And here we are with those headphones that I was talking about, right? Although in this card, it's this, as Spirit's saying, noise cancellation, like putting your headphones on to eliminate the riffraff. They just said riffraff. I don't say that. That's not terminology I would use. Eliminate the riffraff, the everything that does not belong to your worldview, things that seem, again, they seem like a mess. Like, look at this. This, you know, in a certain circumstance, this would feel like riffraff. Like people that are just very shadowy and looking to cause trouble. I don't know why that word is coming up. I think there's a song. It's from Aladdin, right? Riff Raff, Street Rat. I don't buy that. I haven't seen Aladdin in a very long time, but maybe that you connect with that. What's Aladdin all about? It's about, you know, this kid who just kind of comes upon magic lamp, and out comes the genie and making wishes, and also in a process of discovering himself. That's what kind of Aladdin is all about. I don't know why this is coming up, but it feels like it's relevant for somebody. So Four of Swords in the upright, rest, recuperation. You got this card in reverse. You're waking up. I think that you have probably put the work in for your spiritual awakening. You've probably engaged in some kind of meditative practice, holistic practice. I see some of you might have had some massage or Reiki or acupuncture. Maybe you have done some ayahuasca, some LSD, some mushrooms, things like that. Whatever floats your boat, to kind of awaken something in you, this opening the door to the mystery, to the questions, that the burning questions is what Spirit just said, the burning questions. Can I have a clarifier, please? What are some of the burning questions right now? Oh, interesting. I don't know what this card corresponds to, but we're gonna go with it. The Puppeteer. I don't know if this has if this is unique to this deck, or if it corresponds to a major arcana card. Maybe the Hanged Man. It's okay, it doesn't matter. What matters is the sentiment of the card, Puppeteer, the sense that we are we pawns? Are we puppets? Are we players? Who is in control? Are we the puppeteer? Or are we being controlled by the puppeteer? Spirit's showing me the Wizard of Oz, the actual wizard behind the curtain. Interesting though, look, if you look at it, here's the puppeteer, like kind of looking to control these two characters, but he himself is a puppet, a marionette, Spirit just said. Marionette. That's a very specific word. Who controls the puppeteer? You could be asking these like really major questions, like, okay, if I believe in God, you know, is there a possibility that God answers to somebody? Does God exist in, you know, God is omniscient as a concept, but do they also exist in this universe that has its own set of rules, right? I mean, I don't have the answers to this, but I feel like this is the level of the esoteric that you're asking yourself right now. Like really digging deep, asking why after why after why. You did get it in reverse, however, so it's kind of like at some point you have to say to yourself, the door has to open for me, because I can't just keep asking these questions upon questions. At some point, the door has to open. I'm looking for the door to open so that I can have some clarity. What did your twin get? Number 27, which corresponds to a 9, the Hermit card of the Major Arcana, Virgo energy. I mean, that's great, because if they're hermiting right now, it means that they're taking the time needed to assess, to heal, to look at the triggers and the traumas, to figure out where they stand, what it is that they believe in, who is it that they are, and who do they want to be. The word is transformation. And they're just such beautiful little kind of symbols here. I see crystals, mirrors, little moths, right? Butterflies, leaves. I see some lapis lazuli, some sodalite. I see some mookaite. And this is important because mookaite, this looks like mookaite to me. This is also a mookaite crystal that I have on my desk. Mookaite is for family lineage healing. So it kind of talks to me about maybe they're looking at some ancestral wounding. But it feels like in this life, not necessarily in far back. It's like what their parents or their relatives were going through and how that influenced who they have become. The lapis lazuli here and the lapis lazuli here, and that looks kind of like sodalite to me. Lapis lazuli and sodalite talk about the throat chakra, communication. How do we express these things? How do we communicate with others? How are we speaking to ourselves? Spirit just said, how does your twin speak to themselves? You know, your twin could have it all figured out on the outside, but on the inside, they could be a jumble, and they're trying to separate out all the constituent elements to try and make sense, to try and bring order to their heart, to their mind. Probably more to their mind, as they got the Queen of Swords in the upright, which is also the cover art for this, which feels important somehow. Cover to cover, covering, trying to cover up. The Queen of Swords talks about someone, Swords energy is air sign energy, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. And she talks about really searching for the truth of things, getting to the bottom of things. You can see here in the window, it's almost like this veil, and it feels like grieving. I don't know if your twin has gone through some kind of grieving process, or it could be an internal grieving process. Thank you, Spirit. An internal grieving process. Damn, that was so loud. An internal grieving process. I think your twin has some regret. They could be looking at the truth of something and having to come to grips with that truth. I also see this figurehead of an eagle, right? The eagle takes the 20,000 foot view, maybe not that high, 10,000 foot view, to assess things from on high, to get a greater perspective. I mean, that makes me think of the Hanged Man, to get a greater perspective. And that perspective has really illuminated something that they're grieving right now. What is their twin grieving? Water signs twin. Three cards came out. The Seven of Swords in reverse, the Moon card, and the Knight of Cups. The Seven of Swords, let's start with that one. The Seven of Swords is a tricky card. It is the trickster energy, but as a card itself, it's very tricky to deal with, because usually the card represents something somewhat positive, that we are looking at a situation and taking advantage of something, not in a way to hurt other people, but to almost prevent ourselves from getting hurt. This is a very specific image, though, of somebody who is taking an oath, and in the window here, they're crossing their fingers like a little white lie. So taking this oath but not meaning it. Your twin did get this card in reverse. That talks to me about if we're talking about what I asked, what are they grieving? This looks like false promises. The false promises I made and should not have made false promises. I wanted to come towards my twin with something true and authentic, Knight of Cups. I wanted to come towards them with this cup of love. Feels slow. Feels almost a balancing act. Exaggerated. Spirit just said exaggerated. It's like things got out of hand. Things got out of hand. And before I knew it, I couldn't turn back. Look at that card. Look at the dog and the wolf howling. Before I knew it, I couldn't. It's like the train had started and I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop the false promise. It had already come out of my mouth, and I couldn't take it back. And even if I wanted to, like I see this knight's feet pedaling like quadruple time and going very, very, very slow, like comical almost. It came out of my mouth and I couldn't take it back. And now I'm left in this space because I am reading for twins and separation, right? I'm left in this space that's a little nebulous. The moon energy, this is also Pisces, very heavily influenced by Pisces in this reading. Number 18. The moon talks about secrets, illusion, confusion. shadowy energies, illumination in the darkness, where things are unclear at this time. I don't know, could your twin be losing sleep? Usually they don't have a representation of a person at rest here. Something could be happening in your dream state. Are you experiencing any interactions, I'll call them, with your twin in the dream state? Some of you will know what I'm talking about when I say interactions, perhaps intimate interactions. Yes, it does happen. Yes, it's the most intense thing you'll ever feel. Are those kinds of things happening right now? Or are you dreaming about them? Doesn't have to be, you know, intimate. Are you dreaming about your twin? I think they're confused by the journey. They're trying to make sense of it. That's why the Queen is here, trying to look for the truth. But that's the thing about the twin flame journey. The truth of the twin flame journey is like even more confusing. Even when you know it, even when you feel it with every fiber of your being, it just begets more questions. Yeah, some of you could be feeling like this is some kind of crazy. I mean, there's no such thing as twin flames, and yet here you are. I was in that boat too, I promise you. And now that I've come into union with my twin after 5 years of no contact, I mean, I will tell you, like, I don't want to kind of sit in your face here and tell you like, oh, the journey's so worth it and blah, blah. I mean, like, I do believe that it's worth it. But 3 months ago, before I came back into union with my twin, I would have been like, this is hard. I mean, it's still hard. It's still hard. It's still, we will forever be a work in progress. But if you can see the twin flame journey as this journey back to yourself, it's tremendously rewarding. It is. When you focus on yourself and on your own pursuits, on your own gifts, on raising your vibration and going out there and getting everything that you desire, bringing abundance towards you, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. For the connection, number 1 of the major arcana corresponding to the Magician card, right? Manifestation, initiation. You and your twin, this is the connection, really thinking about what is it that I really want to bring towards me. It's almost like, at least for you, I feel like you're a little bit closer to these concepts because it's like the door opens and then you're walking through, walking towards your twin, walking towards your goals and hopes and dreams. Initiation feels like Ace of Wands energy, that spark of creativity, that spark that starts the engine. Whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, walk towards it. Don't just wait for things to like fall in your lap. We got to show the universe that we want it, right? Because if we don't, 6 of Wands in the reverse. 6 of Wands in the upright is victory, recognition, public accolades, awards, promotion. In the reverse, it's kind of like the victory eludes us. Where is our victory? When are we going to have our victory? I mean, for you, the victory might be divine union with your counterpart. How do we get to that? Continue to manifest for yourself. It's almost like don't worry about what they're doing. Like, you can't anyway. They have to walk their own path. So even if you walk up to the same door, when you open the door, it's one way, and when they open the door, it's another way, right? Like, twins often mirror one another, but it's almost like parallel. Like, until the two roads converge, you're just running parallel lines. They cannot walk your path and you cannot walk theirs. That's very important. What's going to help us towards our victory, Spirit? Two cards came out, another 6. Number 13, the Death card, the Major Arcana, and the 6 of Swords in reverse. Scorpio, you showed up in your own reading. Really bringing something to a close. Really understanding that there's a cycle of repeat that is not serving you anymore. We need to put a stop to it. And we need to recognize what that cycle of repeat is. In the twin flame dynamic, it could just be like you putting all your attention on your twin and not on yourself, right? Maybe it's the cycle of repeat of talking negatively to yourself and just saying, I don't know, I want to start this business, but I can't do that. That's just a pipe dream. Like, no, stop that cycle of repeat. Why do you keep telling yourself you can't do it when you can? 6 of Swords in the reverse. 6 of Swords in the upright can talk about moving from chaotic situations to something that's a little bit more clear. If we look at the image here, it's like a jet, but the window shows us kind of like an old-time plane, like a one of those first planes, like a prop plane almost. It's talking about looking at your roots, going all the way back to the beginning. We have to walk before we can run. That's what this feels like. And you got this card in reverse to clarify. It's almost like take it one day at a time. One day at a time. The first thing you need to do, right? Identify the cycles of repeat that are not serving you. If you keep going down a certain path of thinking, you're gonna keep getting the same result. Spirit's advice, number 52, which corresponds to the number 7, the Chariot card of the Major Arcana. That's the victory card. That's the fast movement forward. Offerings. This is very clear to me, Spirit giving me this card for you. The advice here is to share your gift with the world. Clarified by the number 11, Justice card of the Major Arcana, Libra energy. See how there's like protesting happening. The sword of truth and justice is here. I mean, you could be an advocate. You could be somebody who advocates for others. You could have a strong voice or a strong presence on social media where you are looking at the injustices of the world and trying to find that way to help others through your actions or your writing or your art or your music or whatever it is. There's this sense that Spirit wants you to inspire yourself to inspire others. Very clear message for you. So that's your reading, twins. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, twins.